practice relaxing. And we have that dreadful word, relax, which I really don't like. But unfortunately, in our language, we don't really have a lot of choice. Release, relax, soften. You know, they're all saying the same thing in effect, but it doesn't really help, does it? So just stay here for a second anyway, and keep doing this. So relax. Somebody asked the same question. How on earth do you relax? They asked last night. Okay, well, the only answer that I can come up with, really, is that any muscle, when it tenses, any muscle has two ends. Yeah, it's got an origin and an insertion. So if I'm here, for example, let's say I've got one muscle in my forearm. It starts on this side of the joint, on the upper part, and it travels down to this side of the joint. So here's a joint, here's a joint. It starts on that side, finishes there. Okay, and the muscle in the middle is, well, it's one muscle, we say. It isn't, of course. What happens when you get tense is this tendon on this end of the muscle and this tendon on this end of the muscle and the muscle in the middle, they start squeezing together. So the muscle becomes tense in the middle. And so your job is to actually try and release between the two ends of each tendon. Well, every muscle will overlap a joint, every single one in your body. Yeah. It's sort of true depending on how you interpret um, overlap a joint. So, for example, one that you could argue, is that overlapping a joint? You have some which start in your small of your back here. They pass round the pelvis and they come to the inside of the leg. I suppose you could argue that the pelvis is the joint in the middle, but okay. So to relax a muscle, all you need to do, all you need to do is to let go the two ends of the muscle. So you feel where you're tense and you feel how the muscle's being drawn together and you just allow it to undo. And it's not easy, is it? So shoulders, for example, let's say I'm up here on one side. Okay, so this is here, top of my neck, and it's connecting to the back of my shoulder here, top of my neck to the back of my shoulder, and I need to let those two ends separate so that happens. I need to let them part away from each other. You know, it does pay to look in an anatomy book. If you've got pain, say, in an arm or something, find out where the pain is, look at the anatomy of which muscle is being involved, and then you'll know where the origin and the insertion is, and you can let go. Yeah, just lower your hands, it's fine. If you need to do this, then, you know, just stretch your leg out. So what have I had in the last couple of days? Yeah, so I've had a pain here, just above my elbow. Below my elbow, sorry, below my elbow. Okay, so this muscle which connects from here right the way down towards the thumb, and it goes down to my index finger as well. So basically it's the radial nerve being affected, but think of it as one muscle. So there's a number of things you can do, and we've touched on this briefly before, and I've done this, is that you can find the major point of pain where it really hurts most, and you push in, and then you try and release the muscle where you're pushing. You try and let it go. So you treat it a bit like you got a hammock, tree to tree, yep, two trees, hammock in the middle, and it's just rained the night before. It's a canvas hammock, right? And the canvas has shrunk and it's pulling the trees together. Okay, well, that's the equivalent of a muscle tightening. So what you need to do is if you push in the middle of the wet hammock and you just push hard in because it's wet because it's tense, yeah. So you push in hard. Basically, that's the same as pushing down on your hammock and gradually stretching it. Now, when you come to let go, the hammock will undo a little bit more than it did before. So here, what I did was I found the point of pain, I pressed in, held it, and left my thumb stuck in there. And whilst I was pressing, I tried to relax the hammock of the muscle between under my thumb, and I tried to let my thumb go in as though my thumb was going through to this side. I tried to give the muscle permission to undo, and then when I very slowly let go, you don't suddenly let go, you very slowly let go, and you let the hammock spring back to where it wants to go. And you might need to do it a few times, but it's very good for cramp. I know I've said this before, but it's the sort of thing I repeat a lot because it's kind of useful info and people forget it. So yeah, but Qigong, whatever position we're in, you have to practice undoing all the hammocks in your body. It's a massive challenge. And you'll crack it one day and then you'll think I've sorted it. And of course you haven't, because the next day you're tense because something else has happened. So it goes on and on. Except that you do develop the skill of letting go your problems. I'm talking about physical problems here. There's probably a tie into mental problems. I haven't analysed that.